joining me and welcome to my channel. This is your reading for the North Node in Gemini and South Node in Sagittarius. I'm super excited to be here with you guys to break down the transits and how they will affect you. Also, I will do a deep tarot reading for both the transits as well as integrated reading about who you are becoming at the end. Okay, I also did a collective reading describing for you what the North Node is, what the South Node is. That's linked down below and at the end of the video. And yeah, so let's get right into it. So first off, I want to go through 3 transits with you guys astrologically to give you an idea of what's going on in your chart. The North Node is transiting in Gemini now from May 5th, 2020 to January 2022. This is the true node of the North Node, and in fact the mean node won't transit into Gemini until June 4th. This gives us a whole month of a transition period as the node is shifting into Gemini. So we're seeing this energy shift over from your 11th house Cancer to your 10th house of Gemini, and this video is good for you if you're a Sun, Moon, or Rising Virgo. What's going to happen here? Well, what's going to happen here is going to be you're going to experience a focus on career. There's going to be a big expansion of your social life, not necessarily friendship, but in terms of how you're known. I feel like the North Node in Cancer had, in one way or another, fixed a lot of the things that were going on in your social life that were defamatory or slanderous. And now as the North Node shifts into your 10th house, you'll feel this push forward. The South Node is moving into your 4th house, healing family issues. Bottom line, healing family issues, things in the family, in the home that have held you back. Deeply personal transit, and over the next 3 years you're going to have a series of this kind of energy, so look out for that. One thing that's going to happen in the South Node, I'll tell you now, we're not really talking about it later, but I can show you in the chart. Next year in 2021, Juno, the ideal wife or the ideal woman, the wife of Jupiter, will be conjunct the South Node for a long time. So there will be a lot of fixing family issues and, fidelity and loyalty kind of things getting fixed in your family life. But one of the main things to be aware of is as this transit is happening in Gemini, there's very few planets in this area of the chart. This is the same as when the North Node was in Cancer for the last year and a half. What happens when the North Node is like this is that you feel like you want to get somewhere, you have an idea in terms of where you want to get to, but there are not necessarily a lot of planets to help us to get in that direction. So if you have secondary planets in Gemini, if you have friends or contacts with those transits in Gemini, their energy will be very helpful, as well as transits in May and May through August this year and May next year. So these are the 2 times each of these years, 2022, 2021, in which the inner planets, Venus, Mercury, the asteroid Vesta, and then the Sun will transit in Gemini and provide a contact point for us to get to where we need to go. So this is like hit the ground running energy. Essentially, you will be going towards where you need to be really fast, and if you blink you'll miss it. So it's important for you to pay attention in May, June, July, and August this year, because there will be this push for you in terms of career. This is not a time to sit back and relax, and the transit that I'm about to tell you next will clarify this further. This fall, in late September, early October, we are going to get into some problematic energy. Now, as a kind of explanation, I am not saying this to be disparaging. I don't want to scare anybody. I'm telling you guys so you don't waste your time in May, June, and July, and August, and then be hit with a bunch of stuff in September and definitely October, November, December. So let's go through what's going on this is for preparedness. This is not to worry, but just so you can prepare and be aware of what's going on. What's going on in the autumn. Okay, so the first thing that happens is Mars goes retrograde in your 8th house. Something that you need to put an end to that maybe haven't in the past, you're going to put an end to now. Time to really clear out anything that you need to do that you haven't done to this point. Whatever needs a change, it's going to happen now, okay? And especially if it's carried over from the past. Right after Mars is doing this in your 8th house, Lilith, we all love Lilith, starts moving into Taurus, forming a conjunction with Uranus. Now, Uranus is a sponge. It takes good energy, makes it better, takes bad energy, and it just feeds off of it in the same particular way. It's a machine kind of transit. It's the energy of the machine, and it just takes on the energy of its environment and magnifies it. And so Lilith coming into Uranus will in some way make complicated situations more difficult. To add to this, Uranus from October on and Lilith will start forming semi-square angles. Those are small squares between the North node and itself. What that means for us as a collective is that our ability to problem solve situations will get stumbling blocks. There will be things in the way to achieving solutions to get out of problems that we're in. Individually, same stuff. So Uranus in your 9th house is actually making you a great problem solver over the next few years. However, this kind of push and the ability to get through problems by using your mind will be deadened in October, November, December. There will be things that will be hard to solve, things that will get on your nerves, that will be irritating, and hard to resolve. So you want to make sure to take care of things as best you can and get prepared. Virgos are great for that. May, June, July, and August. And then don't take unnecessary risks. And then in the fall, be prepared for the possibilities. They may be great. I'm not saying that good things can't happen, but they are going to be forming an obstruction to the North Node. The other thing that's going on is that the stellium, all the planets in Capricorn here in your 5th house, are coming back together. So this is a reminder of the transits in January, February, and March this year, when Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn were in Capricorn. This will happen in October, November, and although right now there's no eclipses here, we are taking a look at very potent energy. In some way, I feel like it's going to be a resolution to whatever happened at the beginning of the year for us collectively and individually. For you, this is your 5th house. This has to do with fun, and fun's really important in life. So keep an eye on how you're having fun, what's important to have fun. Your relationships with your children will be very important at the end of the year, all that stuff. And then finally, we're going to go into 2 eclipses this winter. One is going to be a full moon eclipse in Gemini on November 30th in your 10th house. Something in your career will change. I will do a dedicated video on that, but just remember, something in your outside life is going to change, and it's going to free you up to live a better quality of life. But very likely you will be asked to be flexible and change something. The other thing that will happen is a beautiful new moon eclipse. Now this is the heavy one, okay? The one on November 30th. The bright and light one, just full of energy and vigor, is going to be the new moon eclipse amid all of these things happening. Lilith, remember, Lilith in Taurus. Amid all of these things, there's going to be a new moon eclipse on December 14th, and with that, something wonderful will initiate for you with your home, with your family, with your relationships, and especially this is like things that are born out of our early childhood development. So that something's going to be born out of your desires and the things that you've wanted when you were young, before life happened. So it's a really kind of rejuvenating new moon eclipse. So look forward to that, and I'll do a dedicated video for this. Finally, last transit, or last set of transits next year in 2021. What are we seeing? Lilith moves into Gemini. She starts forming conjunctions with the North Node at the end of July. This looks like a crapshoot. You may be in trouble in terms of your career, like rapport with other people. Maybe again the slander comes up or defamation comes up. However, Ceres is a minor planet behind Mars. The only reason she is not a planet is because she hasn't cleared her path. She's bigger than Pluto, so I really take her seriously as a heavenly body. Ceres moves over the horizon and starts protecting you almost immediately in August. The little hot spot is late July, early August next year, when Lilith pushes into Gemini. There could be like a close call with regard to your reputation, with regard to your career. So I'll talk to you about it then, but just slow and steady, Virgo, and don't freak out. There will be protection that will be coming to help you later into the month. And Ceres will actually stay in Gemini the entire time of the rest of this transit. So she'll be the protective mother, nurturing us. Very likely, very strong female figures will come into your career, and you will blossom. So, and you will be also, if you're a female, or if you're working through the feminine energy, you will also blossom at that time. One last thing, the second new moon eclipse, there's 2 Gemini eclipses and 4 Sagittarian ones. The second new moon eclipse on December 14th, 2021, December 4th, 2021, will happen in your 4th house. So you're going to have 2 eclipses to do with your family, 2 bright new beginnings. Be excited for them. They're both beautiful, and everything else will make those eclipses will make everything else worth it. So it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful breakthrough. So think gifts, think Christmas time, wonderful new beginnings. Okay, so breakthrough moments, solutions for us collectively, but also for you to do with the home and family. So now let's get into the tarot. First, we're going to take a look at your South Node, so that 4th house stuff, intuition. Right away it comes in. So it's something that you're already intuitively feeling, very likely to do with your mother, grandfather, grandmother, matriarchal line, so mothers and grandmothers. You already feel something is happening. Many of you already know what I'm talking about. Then there is triumphant success. I think that you're going to break through to someone, break through to someone's heart. You're going to speak from the heart. You're going to speak from your mind. They're going to really listen to your intuition through this, especially in the realm of healing. The South Node is all about healing. And so, the South Node is about our past lives, and our past lives are deeply connected to our families. So for you, this is a very key transit, because maybe karmic things with your family are being healed. And so you have to listen to the subtext. You have to listen to below what is going on the surface, and try to appreciate what's going on from this kind of subtle inner knowing, subtle insight. Then we have the 5 of Swords. What you think is failing is actually not failing. I have a feeling that you may feel throughout this transit that there is an overwhelming feeling that there's too much going on. How can this work out? You may have even lost faith. Some of you guys might have lost faith that certain things can happen. A download just happened for me that some of you feel like you'll never buy a house, you'll never be able to be self-sufficient, you may never get to a level in life to which you want to be. And I think that in parts of this time you will lose hope because you're tired. But I feel like with these new moon eclipses and the other transits, you're going to get a lot of help and support from the universe and from the people around you you will make it. Do you see the people on the wall? They're showing you the direction. So it's all a matter of you looking up and going in the right direction. And then we have the Wisdom card, the Hierophant. This is Taurus. That's that problem-solving ability. So I bet this is that transit I was telling you guys about, in which Lilith creates a conjunction And I showed you guys like the week before, but Lilith will go into your 9th house, and suddenly it will feel like, you know, if you try to achieve something, let's say you're trying to buy a house, suddenly there's some kind of opposition or a hard way to solve it, you know. Yeah, it's just going to become intimidating. But this is saying that you're going to figure out a way. Keep at it, keep learning, keep applying the things you know. You're going to get there, and it's not going to be, you know, I'm thinking of the word in Polish. The reason for the reason for the South Node in Sagittarius in your 4th house is not to make your life more complicated. It's actually to free you up. So whatever's holding you back will become released. Okay, next message, we have the 9 of Pentacles, Venus in Virgo, material harvest. Something within you is telling you to move forward. That can feel extremely irritating if the outside world is not forthcoming yet. Be patient, Virgo. You're almost there. Here is the next message. Then we have the fertility card, the mother card, right? I told you guys, wonderful communication, speak from the heart, be the mother, or maybe this is to your own mother or your grandmother. There's an inner understanding. This is not something you're going to be able to ask a friend about. This is going to either come through your soul and your inner knowing about what to do about this situation, or it's going to be something that you resolve with your mother or your grandmother or your daughter, something in the matriarchal line. The next message is the 4 of Swords. So instead of hitting your head against the wall, wondering when something's going to work out, ease up a little. The reason I showed you these transits, especially later this year, is not to worry you, but just to give you perspective. Don't celebrate all summer, May, June, July, that like, you know, throwing caution to the wind and then cry in the fall. This is your heads up. Pay attention, be sober-minded through the summer, and then into the winter and the fall, you will ride it out with relative ease. Now, if you use up all your energy through the summer and the spring, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the information is here for you to know. So take life seriously now. It's going in a good direction. And then great healing with your family, the universe expansion. There's such a growth potential. Look at these cards. This is the Hierophant and this is the World card. There's such a potential for expansion, and I think that you're gonna gain a lot of out of the current circumstances. Sorry, I thought I heard something. You're gonna gain a lot out of the current circumstances, and you're gonna grow a lot. Some of the things that have been holding you back within your family, some of the things that have been going on within your house, whatever that is to you, you are going to get through it. You are going to work through it through this transit. Okay, so now where are we going? Now we're getting to the North Node. So now we're talking about here our public life, you know, which way to go. This can have to do with our career, but this can have also to do with our like social status, like who we are in the world, that kind of stuff. Okay, Virgos, let's go. So we have the Capricorn card. So the 5th house, that's what I told you. 5th house is super, super important. So let me just bring your attention for those of you guys who are new. So here's the 5th house. This is where the eclipses were releasing you for the last year and a half. You're meant, the things that you love to do, Virgo, you are becoming those things. And so now, in some way, this Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn at the end of this year will in some way give you an opportunity to become that which you already identified that you love. It's very clearly written on the wall who you are, what you want, and you need to follow that through with your integrity and authenticity. 2 cards came up for the next placement, 6 of Cups and the Love card, Gemini. Gemini is where the North Node is, right? So altruistic, a developed relationship becomes more important in your life, more prominent. Speak from the heart, not from fear. In your public life, there are circumstances in which you can back off and not fully participate in, or you can lead in with your heart. You love these people. Why are you not a part of it? There's a saw. I was like, what is that sound? So I have a feeling that you're holding your heart back from being with the people and the circumstances that you truly want to be with. Whether you know them or not, there's people for you, waiting for you, your tribe, and you have to own it. You have to, this master, you got to own it. You got to take control over it, because the fifth house has shown you, until you own what you love, until you own what you are, your north node in your 10th house is never going to resonate fully. Because you can always choose, like, you want to be a ballerina, right? But you always choose to tap dance. Why are you choosing tap dance over and over again when you know you want to be ballerina? It's clear as day. You want to be ballerina? Go be a ballerina, Virgo, or you're going to go through the same cycle again. Where is your heart? And this has to do with tribe. This has to do with, like, the people that you're meant to be with, the people who are your vibe. And then we have the 9 of Swords, the darkest fears. So you have some doubt, big doubt going on. And I have a feeling that it's about, like, showing who you are, or showing what you really want. And there's this kind of giving up. Oh, it's never going to work anyway. Defeatist thinking, giving up, not believing that it can happen. So you will struggle with this throughout this transit. And especially I fear that at the end of this year, when, Mars once again gives you an opportunity to change your life, to go along in the direction that you're meant to go, that you're going to have these fears and you're going to back off. So be brave, little Virgo. You're going to do fine. More cards about where you're going. Let's see. So we have, not bad. So we have flow. This is the Wheel of Fortune. So you're getting huge cards as the outcome. I feel like you healing your family circumstances is a big part of the process, and it's a 1-2 punch. There's one in December 14th, 2020, one in December 4th, 2021. And so you have to be patient, and you have to allow both events to happen for it all to come together. So in other words, there will be one event in 2020 in this eclipse, the new moon eclipse in Sagittarius, and then there's going to be a second event in December 4th, 2021 that will really propel you to where you're going. It's going to be really about asserting who you are and making a stand, because you're going to be living through your heart. You're going to be living through your matriarchal line. What did your mother have you for? Like, what are you going to, like, exactly, what did she have you for? To do stuff. And what are you supposed to do? The things that are most authentic to you. And it's like, the human being is so complex. It's hard to figure it out. So why not just be? Why not just be you, right? Because the accumulation of your knowledge will be the natural expression of the self, right? You don't need to, like, identify little things. Just do it. Just Nike's got it right. Ace of Cups, love abounds. Love, love, maybe 5th house. Maybe you fell in love with someone. Maybe you've denied yourself the love that you feel for someone. Or maybe the first thing I said was fall in love with yourself. But letting the heart free. That's what this, I'm not calling these readings by individual names, but this is like, let the heart free. Let it be what it is. Allow it to exist in the flow, and trust that the universe, like, it's almost like you're controlling your environment in order to keep safe, but that's restricting your growth. And so you need to kind of push out, fall back, do the trust fall in with the universe, and trust that the universe will sweep you up and set you in the right direction. Here is the next message, base chakra. So this is fundamental shifts to your reality about which way you go. I have a feeling that many of you are going to change fundamentally who you associate with. fundamentally, total shift of who are not even your friends, because that's the 11th house, but this 10th house, it's like, what's your scene? Like, and be true to that. Like, it doesn't have to be like a fashion scene, you know, or a trend scene. It's like, are you with the artists? Are you with the yogis? Like, are you with the mechanics? Like, do you? Here is the next message. We have the 9 of Rods. And so you will be drawing back time and again as you're doing this deep work. There will be times in which you're just like not having it, and that's okay too. That's a time for reflection. That's a time for facing your fears. That's a time for waiting for the next opportunity to sweep you up. And then we have the 6 of Swords. Healing begins, moving forward. The universe is going to prove to you over the next year and a half that you can be who you want to be. It's going to prove to you that you can move forward, and you will not be disappointed by the universe. You will not be disappointed by God. Okay, so here is your 4 cards about what kind of personality types are emerging in you for the next year and a half. Okay, number 1, we have the Optimist. Virgo the Optimist, look at that. Would you look at that? Okay, so then we have the Innocent Virgo. Aw, the sweet. It's like maybe there's a little call to action to trust love. Maybe you're being a little bit too discerning and not letting love in so easily, Virgo. And then we have the Judge. Judging others, judging yourself, right? But also I think you need to be the judge to fairly take a look at the things that are so intimidating for you. You need that quiet space. This really resonates for me as a Virgo. You need that quiet space to kind of think about things, to think about like who you are. What are you actually afraid of, and why are you afraid of them? Because you can't run away from fears. You have to sort of face them, figure them out, find out why there are fears, and then find solutions to that. And then the outcome is the Resistor. The Resistor, Virgo. Okay, so that's what I feel. I feel like you're going to be offered a lot of different opportunities, Virgo. And the sooner that you figure out how to accept your tribe, your social status, your social rank, those you're going to be resisting things. So things are going to be coming into your life over the next year and a half that will be saying, here, Virgo, come here. And you'll be like, no, this does not feel right. This does not feel right, right? Some of those things, I'm not telling you to go against your best judgment, but sometimes you have to question your best judgment, because sometimes saying no is the thing that keeps you from expanding. And that's where the healing begins, when you start to realize that some things you can say yes to, okay? So now I'm going to put the North Node in Gemini, South Node in Sagittarius, collective reading, explanation about how this all works right here. And then over here, I'm going to put your link to the full moon in Scorpio, or if you're watching this past May 2020, the link to the best video for you, okay, or a playlist. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful year and a half. And yeah, I wish you guys all the best. Thanks, Virgo. Bye.